up there, about 400 yards, there's a house where Sam Adams and John Hancock are hiding out. Not hiding, just living, so they don't get arrested. They know, both sides know where everybody is and what's going on. You can't really hide out here. But the notion of the regular army marching out here to arrest them and going to Concord and taking guns away just seems crazy. Until that midnight, when Paul Revere rides here, and he rides into town, and he knows where to go, and he makes a noise, and he says, listen, you guys need to go, they're coming for you, this is legit. And people really can't fathom it. From Boston, they're coming out here to do this, but it is happening, it really is happening. So they refresh the horses at that tavern there, the Buckminster Tavern. These houses were here. You can own a piece of this property for about $6 million, I think, that house back there. And these houses were here. That church site was here too. And so this common was here. The town has itself a common. And at about 5:30 in the morning, the British Army is marching up this road. Now they know that Hancock and Adams have escaped. Why? Because Paul Revere gets captured and tells everything. He tells that they should go back. So the guy in charge of this, Colonel Smith, is not about to go back to Boston and tell his boss, General Gage, that he failed in destroying munitions, guns, and the arrest of Hancock and Adams. He's marching. This town has something called this town has a militia. Every town has to have a militia for defense against French Indian aggression. And it has 70 of them. And the guy in charge is a guy called Captain Parker. Parker is an older, taller man, but they seem to respect him. He probably had some, probably has some experience in the French Indian War, and his job really is to report to the Crown. But today, he's annoyed that the troops are coming here, and he wants to protect Hancock and Adams. So he tells his men to line up along this tree line here, and he gives them a pre-battle speech, and it goes something like this: "Do not fire unless fired upon, but if they mean to have war, let it begin here." Not the most inspirational battle speech I've ever heard. It's really a suicide order, actually, because you can't fight the British Army. No one has, no one can. These are professionally trained soldiers. You can't stop 10 with muskets. They know how to march, how to stand, how to feed themselves, how to do it under duress. They can reload that brown bess in about 20 to 30 seconds while under duress, whereas militia are not professional. They don't know how to do the grapevine, the volleying, and it would have been suicide. 70 versus 800 professionally trained soldiers, any more than we could stand up to a modern military with fully professional, fully automatic weapons today. So they get to the front here, roughly where that statue is, and the guy in front, Lieutenant McAllister, the British Army was stacked full of 19-year-old Irish kids. He sees these armed men, and I know this because not only is it in the history books, and there were lots of witnesses, but they do reenactments here. You put 12,000 people around here watching this. And the young officer, he gets here, and you don't want to get within 70 yards, so he stands here, and he says, "By order of King George, step aside." They were told to stand their ground. So people are here watching. Now, no one knows to this day who fired the shots. No one knows to this day. There were witnesses, officers kept diary, the locals were all here watching, but a shot went off. Whether it went off in presentation, step aside, whether someone got nervous. When you're playing rock, paper, scissors and you get a tie, always go paper. Nervous people clench. Or maybe Sam Adams paid someone to shoot a handgun. But when it went off, the British regular army hacked into the militia. And this place went off like a giant bomb. Smoke covered the area. All you could hear is red coats charging. Their orders, their battle orders were all, they knew how to flank, how to move, and before you know it, Colonel Smith rides up, has the drummer boy beat the drum. That restores order, and when the dust had settled, you could hear tears, cries. You got a horse got killed here, one British officer's horse got shot, one officer got hit in the leg over there, 7 militia are dead on the common over there. Jonathan Harrington crawls up to that house and dies in front of his wife and kids, and 1 spectator gets killed. and the militia disappear into the woods. All while this is going on, Paul Revere is seen with a kid with a trunk of secrets. Sam Adams left his trunk of secrets in the tavern over there, so he's hiding them in a cemetery back there. This crazy scene, and the British do 3 victory jars and 3 victory volleys and head for Concord. And so this is the first time in the colonies that we have the first shot of the American Revolution fired right here, turning Lexington Common into Lexington Battle Green. This is the only flag that's allowed to fly 24/7, the birthplace of American liberty. They're saying that it happened here. It could have happened in other towns. It could have happened in Salem, but the militia stood there and said, no, you're not coming into Salem, and so the troops turned around. It could have happened in Plymouth, but it didn't. It happened right here. Sam Adams is heard to say, as he's escaping that way, my, what a lovely morning. And he wasn't talking about the weather. He had spent 6 years orchestrating this to go down, because he knew that this would lead to a tumbling situation. So General Gage sends a rider back to Boston. We are now in enemy territory. If you are a British regular soldier, you are now 15 miles from home. You're wearing a red coat and you're in hot territory. The natives are restless and things are not good. But they're going to push on for Concord, because the second part of the order was to take away guns, muskets, munitions that were being stored by colonial forces. So take some pictures, we'll get back on the bus and we are going to head for Concord, hopefully find a rest stop.